there, my name is Hila, and I am a Thrive Life consultant. I wanted to kind of get on here and talk a little bit about the food revolution, the freeze-dried food revolution. So, way back in the day, most people were able to get their food how? They would go to their backyard, and they would plant seeds, right? Still the best way to get fresh produce. People would have their own cows, their own goats. That's just how people survived. You think about like Little House on the Prairie days. I've been rereading that series, and it's just so fascinating to me that people literally lived off of their land. Because obviously I grow up in today's day and age, and I go to the grocery store, which when it comes to meat, I really do prefer not having to get it from my own, backyard. But things like, cucumbers and broccoli and tomatoes, people could, they'd get seeds, they'd plant them, they'd work really hard, they'd harvest them, and they'd bring them on in and eat them at their dinner table. That's how people got produce. And then, but the thing is people had, what was in season, and they did have ways to preserve things for the winter, of course. And over time, they learned the system of canning things in glass jars that would help them last for a long time. And so that was a food revolution, learning how to get things to store on their shelves without having to be, packed in a bunch of salt necessarily, or whatever else they used to have to do before freezers and things like that. So they had this food revolution and learned how to do wet pack canning from, what they grew in their garden. A great thing, obviously I have seeds because I'm going to plant a garden this year, but, not everybody now has that option. This is going to be the first year that I have my own garden in my own backyard, and I am super, super excited. We lived in an apartment for several years in Washington State, and there just wasn't a spot for a garden. It wasn't an option for me. And so this is now my first year to have my very own garden in my very own backyard, where I can go out and weed while my kids are napping, or get them to help me so that they learn that process, because garden fresh is always best. So I'm super excited. But like I said, it's not an option for everyone. Canning those vegetables to preserve them and have something for the months where those fruits and vegetables aren't in season came along. And that was a food revolution to help people be able to have those fruits and vegetables that they wanted on their pantry shelves for times when they couldn't just go out in the backyard and pick them fresh. And then there was another food revolution. Not just in the glass jars, but grocery stores started having the literally canned goods, which, don't we all have these in our homes, on our shelves? I certainly have a few. I have some diced tomatoes, I have green beans, some of the very basic things that we use frequently out of this type of a can. But this was a food revolution. We don't think of it that way because most of us alive today have always had these canned goods on our shelves, and so it's not thought of as, a food revolution. But if you think about people from the 1800s, this really wasn't around. And so it was a type of food revolution when it was a new thing. And there might have been people who questioned it and thought, I'm never going to go that way, go that route. But now it's just a given. People have canned goods in their homes. So that was the next food revolution. And, you go forward a few more years, and refrigeration became commonplace. People had freezers, not just big ice blocks in their homes. And so guess what? Then there was another food revolution. I don't usually have this kind of food revolution in my home, but I happened to just go to the grocery store and thought, I think I'm going to totally just get this anyway and make a dish with it. But this is riced cauliflower. And I just realized that this one was seasoned while I'm shopping with two kids. Hectic. I don't always read all my labels, which is very naughty. And when I get home and realize that I got one with zucchini and onion and garlic all in it, then I go, okay, it should still work okay for that recipe. But that's not what I meant to get. But anyway, point is, frozen vegetables, frozen meats, those became a possibility once refrigeration was commonplace and everybody's home had a refrigerator. Again, hard for me to imagine a time when there wasn't a fridge and freezer in a home. I've always grown up with that, and I don't want to know what that's like, but I know that I have options in the event I ever have to find out. But certainly we know what it is like to have a bunch of frozen foods and lose power. If you've ever lived in a hurricane zone or anything like that, where you've had a hurricane come and knock out your power for, hours and days, you've probably thrown away some of your frozen food that could not last after several days. So, but again, that was a new food revolution, going from the canned goods, which oftentimes have a lot of added sodium and things, to frozen vegetables that don't require that kind of preservative to be frozen. It can just be frozen as is. Sometimes they're blanched a little first, obviously. But we also know that with that comes freezer burn for things that stay in the freezer too long. So, but that was another food revolution, frozen foods. So, any guesses about what the next food revolution was? And since I'm not live, I'll just tell you. And this is just an example. And don't get me wrong, I love Chick-fil-A. But fast food came along. And this was a new food revolution. People wanted to save time. They wanted quick meals. And fast food was the solution. And it is still a large solution for people. Because people are busy. We have busy lives. They want something now, and that's convenient. They just go to the drive-through, and they've got food. Of course, you pay for that convenience, and it's not always the best food for our bodies, but it was another food revolution. And now we are coming into another food revolution. It's beginning. We are on the beginning side of that, and that is freeze-dried foods, and that is where Thrive Life comes in. Thrive Life offers so many amazing foods in a freeze-dried form, and they are so versatile. You can snack on so many of them right out of the can. These are blueberries. You can refresh them, and I could refresh these and be eating blueberries that now have that liquid back in them. But I can also throw them into like a blueberry pie or a blueberry cobbler. So very versatile and awesome. And they don't mold. It just so happens that since this morning was crazy busy and we were out shopping for our monthly shopping trip, and then I'll get my queue also to add to my groceries this month, we went ahead and went to Chick-fil-A for lunch, and I got my kids a fruit cup. And as I was splitting up the fruit cup for the kids, I noticed that there was a moldy blueberry in the bottom of that little fruit cup. So I took it back and said, hey, just want you to know there was a moldy blueberry in here, because obviously I don't want my kids to eat a moldy blueberry, and who knows how long it's been moldy, what other fruits have gotten the mold spores on it, and so naturally I'm just going to take it back. And they apologized profusely, but the thing is I know blueberries mold. They're not known for being super long lasting. Unless, of course, you're getting a freeze-dried blueberry, and I told my little girl, I said, that's why Mommy buys Thrive Life blueberries, because we don't have to worry about having moldy blueberries. I use what I need when I need it. And that's the awesomeness of freeze-dried foods. So this is the new food revolution, and they are quick, easy, versatile, delicious, and you can get them right to your door. So I just wanted to share that information about the food revolution of freeze-dried foods. It really is coming in to change the world, and I love having them in my home store so that I have a variety of foods to pull from every month for all of my grocery needs. And I just wanted to share that with you. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me. I have a Facebook page, Thriving, Thriving, with Hila, Hila. And you can contact me there. You can contact me through my email address, thriveingnilla@gmail.com. But yeah, I'd love to help you out if you want to get groceries to your door and join this awesome food revolution. Happy thriving!